India-Canada ties and what is happening internally within Canada. Amid the ongoing diplomatic standoff with India, Canada's opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre has condemned, in fact, the quote-unquote hateful comments targeting Indo-Canadian Hindus and has highlighted their quote-unquote invaluable contribution to Canada. Earlier, viewers, of course, Khalistani leader Pannu had threatened Indo-Canadian Hindus to leave the country and return to India. Following this, of course, the Public Safety Department of Canada had condemned the action and stated that there was no place for hate in the country. And now, the opposition leader Poilievre has also spoken about the same and has stated that Hindus are always welcome in Canada. This is, of course, the latest that we're tracking for all our viewers on the broadcast this morning. Remember, viewers, India-Canada relations have soured over the last few days after Justin Trudeau had in fact made accusations against India in Canada's House of Commons. He had earlier, of course, stated and accused India of killing Khalistani leader Nijjar in Canada, on Canadian soil. Even though later he had backtracked from these statements, he stated that Canada is not looking to provoke India. Today morning, he had made a fresh claim that apparently intelligence was shared weeks ago. Although the MEA has come out earlier and stated that even after asking Canada, no intelligence or information was shared. Of course, a slew of action and reciprocal diplomacy going on. Canada, after triggering the diplomatic standoff, Trudeau administration had earlier also expelled a senior Indian diplomat and issued a travel advisory urging its citizens to exercise a high degree of caution while traveling to Jammu and Kashmir. India has, of course, responded to all these actions by Canada. India had earlier, of course, penned a strong statement rejecting Justin Trudeau's allegations, calling them quote-unquote absurd and motivated, and had slammed Canada for providing shelter to Khalistanis who threaten India's sovereignty. Mere hours, in fact, after Trudeau's charges, India had also expelled a senior Canadian diplomat from the country and, in a tit-for-tat move, issued travel advisories for Indians in Canada to exercise utmost caution in the wake of growing anti-India activities. Joining us on the broadcast this morning is Ambassador Deepak Vora, former diplomat. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us on NewsX. Even as the diplomatic standoff between India and Canada is snowballing, opposition leader in Canada, Poilievre, has condemned the quote-unquote hateful comments that are targeting Indo-Canadian Hindus. What do you make of this? Because even yesterday, certain approval ratings have come out where Poilievre's ratings have shot up and Trudeau's ratings have shot down. What do you make of these developments?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Always a pleasure to be on NewsX early in the morning to learn from you. You've talked about some tit-for-tat thing. Are you saying that we would not have issued a tribal advisory, for example, to Somalia, if the Somalians didn't issue a travel advisory for India? We would have done it in any case because Canada is terribly unsafe for people from certain countries, especially if they are not white. As far as this hate speech business is concerned, it's important to remember that Canada operates according to the rule of Trudeau's law. He keeps talking about rule of law, but it's my law, Trudeau's law. You remember the explosion of Kanishk midair 40 years ago? And so the Trudeau family's law is still operating, which is these are third world brown fellows, let them die, it doesn't bother us. Now this character who has issued a threat to Canadian Hindus that you should leave the country, man, he's an intelligence asset. I have played this game myself in my career. He has been asked to make this speech to deflect attention from whatever is going on. The Canadian government says, we will not tolerate hate speech. And the opposition fellow says the same thing. So I'll tell you what is going to happen. I've been in this game 50 years and counting. This fellow will be arrested, released after a couple of days, charged with this. The case will drag on for about 40 years. By when this fellow would have transitioned, so would I. and nothing will come of it. This is all stage managed. If the Canadians had been serious when we were telling them about the activities of this character, they would have arrested him long ago and handed him over to us. But then, according to Trudeau's law, Canada believes in freedom of expression. But when the Canadian truckers protest, then the freedom of expression goes out the window. Or when 100 fellows from First Nation, the original inhabitants of Canada, lodge a protest saying that you can't have this gas pipeline going through our area, then Shri Trudeau, the great believer in rule of Trudeau's law, has them arrested and beaten up. Ma'am, this hypocrite fellow who claims to be the Prime Minister of his country, I don't think we should take him seriously. He is really a stand-up comic. And I believe that this whole episode will come to an end sooner rather than later. We'll sort it out. But the damage that he has caused to our bilateral relationship will take a long time to overcome.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.